How many pillows is too many? The answer is any number higher than 2. Anyway, here's a story about how I almost burned down our apartment because of my hatred for an excessive amount of pillows. Roughly around 2004, my mom and I lived in this apartment. We moved to a 1-bedroom to save money on rent, and the living room became my room, which I didn't mind because it was bigger than my old room. Problem was, if anyone were to come over, no one ever did, my room would be the first thing they saw. And as a teenager, I kept my room in a state that could only be described as tornado-esque. My mom had gotten me a really nice queen-size bed. Since the last bed I had, I hated for it being too soft. In fact, this bed, an improvement as it was still too soft. So instead, I chose to sleep on the floor in the space between the bed and the wall. My mom was fine with this because it meant my bed stayed made, since the only time I was on it was to watch TV. However, she insisted on a fuck ton of decorative pillows, which I also hated. I would only ever use 2 while watching TV, and would throw all the extras on the floor to be out of my way, which was bothersome when it came time for me to crawl into my nest, because now all the stupid pillows were there, so then I'd have to move them all back onto the bed. Truly a Sisyphean exercise that I grew tired of every time the cycle repeated. Well, eventually this became too much for lazy teenager me, and I decided to do something about it. My plan was simple: hide the pillows somewhere she would never look. Being a family that rarely ever ate at home, I knew I could hide them in the oven, since it was never used. Brilliant. Problem solved. And without another argument about me wanting to just throw them away and her saying, "But they're so pretty." Now this plan worked perfectly, up until it didn't. A few months later, I remembered I was working a shift at my shitty fast food job when a manager walks up and says, "I have a phone call." I'm like, I wonder what this is about. Well, in my absence, Mother Dearest got a wild hair up her ass and was going to cook something. So she turns on the oven and goes into the other room for a bit while she waits for it to preheat, when all of a sudden the fire alarm goes off and the house is filled with smoke. She leaves and calls the fire department. They come and check things out. He comes back outside and tells my mom, "Ma'am, you have pillows in your oven." And apparently all he had to do was just turn the oven off. So luckily no damage was done, but she was pissed because her fancy schmancy pillows were ruined. And she asks me, "So, do you know why there were pillows in the oven?" And I'm like, who preheats an oven without checking inside first? We're Hispanic, for crying out loud. I've seen people keep all kinds of pots and pans and stuff in there. She was unswayed. Pretty sure I still got grounded for that little stunt. But she didn't buy more pillows to replace the damaged ones. So I call that a win. And that concludes our story for today. Comment below if you've had any interesting cooking mishaps. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more fiery antics. Be safe, and don't do anything I would do.